Muslim women terrorists talking in my head with a war weapon. There are Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking in my head with a war weapon. I want them sentenced to fucking death. Do you hear me? Oh my freaking God. They are causing me brain damage. I sound handicapped. They've done this to my hairline. They did this to my hair. They made my hair fall out. They're screaming in my head and causing me mental retardation. They're psychopaths. The bitches are psycho. They need to be sentenced to death. They're talking in my head with a war weapon. They're talking in my head with a war weapon. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking in my head. Look what they did to my hair. Look at it. Just look at it. Oh my gosh, I want them investigated the same way. They've caused women strokes that they were doing just as they were as smart and gorgeous as my mom, and were caused him a stroke to the point of complete handicap. They're completely fucking and utterly handicapped. Oh my God, what I would do to get those bitches investigated. They're dictating how they want me. They're like, you sound that retarded. Ha ha ha, you fucking. They're talking in my head. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. The reason why they want to own me and control me is because the government wants to do what they're doing to me and have done to so many others to the women that are talking in my fucking head. Thank you, God. Keep saying they wanted to hurt my daughter. They want to talk in my daughter's head. They're like, if you don't stop, I'm going to talk in your daughter's head. I want to talk in your daughter's head. And one of them keeps screaming. I don't know if it's one or two because I can't keep track. There's so many voices that I hear. But there are a handful of voices that I hear consistently. But they'll scream in my head, fucking talk in your daughter's fucking head. I want it over and over and over and over again. And you don't know, that means murder to me. That sounds like a psycho Egyptian American Muslim woman terrorist wants to talk in my daughter's head to murder her. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. The men were already, what sounds to me from what they've discussed, okay, and they always explain to me how disgusting they are and to the depth of their disgusting ways, so that I am so utterly disgusted that I want to cuss and scream and sound like the violent one, because that's the image they want to portray of me, because they've made claims they need to investigate me. But there's nothing to investigate here. I go to work, I go to church, I'm with my daughter, I'm with my friends, my family, people who now have clearly see that I'm handicapped, clearly hear me and know that I stutter when I talk now, that I clearly not making any moves in my career, that I'm stagnant, that like they are making it so fucking clear because they want so badly to make me look like I'm this person that I'm not, that I'm actually looking handicapped because they want to traffic me into this whatever it is, environment, image that they want. That it has become so utterly clear because I want to work, I want to spend money, I want to be around my kids, I don't like drugs, I don't drink, and I don't smoke. And because it is not my natural self to want to do all the things they need me to do to make it look like they invest in me, they literally have to cripple me to try to traffic me away from work and the things that I enjoy doing. That it has become apparent to the people around me that I am crippled. These psychopaths are sick in the fucking head. And now more so than ever, because they're like, if you keep saying, if you don't cooperate and basically do what we say and allow us to murder you and get away with it, we're gonna talk in your fucking daughter's head, bitch, and we're gonna cripple her the same fucking way. And they keep screaming that in my fucking head. They're Egyptian, American, Muslim women terrorists trafficking me with a war weapon and explaining to me that they're laundering money and they have money, and to the depth of how disgusting they are and how their men cheated on them and they took them back, and now they're fighting to they're bailing them out of the death penalty, okay, after they have traveled the world, seen the most gorgeous women, retarded them down to vegetables while they choke on their fucking privates and whatever else they do with the women, and hear and say that they have enjoyed life to the extent you could enjoy it, to the point that it's boring, and sometimes they're actually disgusted by how available women are and how much at their disposal they are. To the point it's like they don't care if the women make the terrorist women talking in their heads, because they can do whatever they want to the women now, and they don't want their women because they're standing by to support them and make sure they don't get sentenced to death and would murder kids, okay, with the telepathy weapon that they're using, who have no chance at life, never seen anything. They're giving them no opportunity to live whatsoever, okay? Trafficking them, drugging them, raping them, after the men that the men who are like, they've lived a full life at they're playing with my head, living they're only half the age of men who have successfully lived these men's lives, okay? Okay, they've been so fortunate because they're murdering people and laundering money, to sit and travel the world in the span of half somebody's life who's been living successfully. In an 80-year or 70-year span. They're living that life within the 40, 45 years. So it's like, well, then why did the women step in? They should have got sentenced to fucking death. And the women are like, haha, they're like, haha, nobody makes, they're doing that to my hair right now, by the way. Because they're trying to rub it in that they made 98% of my hair fall out so that they could get me to cuss and scream and sound belligerent so I can get kicked off of YouTube. they sit there and they're like, no one would ever be able to burn my scalp the way my men have burned your scalp to make your hair fall out. Haha, and because I said so, bitch. I swear. In my head. Look, they're trying to get me in a car accident. The men are like, oh, you don't like the way our women are treating you? Let me just make you and it looked like somebody was going to hit me, so I swerved because they wanted me to swerve into the car when I was switching lanes, into the car next to me. No, it's not about me being on the phone, bitch. That's why they have, thank God for the records that are produced with the telepathy weapon that they're using to talk inside my head. Because every image that they portray in my mind, every time they take control of my vehicle, every time they take control of they take control of my mind, they make me black out, they make me see things, or whatever they do, it's all recorded on the record. Like, it's all on the record. They don't want me to explain because there are people collecting evidence so that they could prosecute these terrorists that are using these war weapons. Jordan Peterson, what's his name? That guy, I forgot his name. He's a brunette, very famous, very intelligent. I can't remember his name. That guy. God, there's so many. The guy that said he walked laps with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan wants them sentenced to death. Of course, Meghan and Prince Charles, they want those psycho bitches sentenced to death. Not Kim, I don't think Kim Kardashian actually knows. Beyonce wants them, they're all after sentencing them to death. Obama, Michelle, Donald Trump, the Hillary Clinton, the Clintons. The entire Hollywood industry. Hollywood, fashion, musicians, artists of all kinds. They're making the blood rush to my head. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists making me sick while I'm driving, and they're saying go fucking die. I want to make it very clear, like, I actually shouldn't even be operating a vehicle right now. That's how much they're attacking my head. I can't capture their voices on my live stream, and they're screaming in my head right now. And they don't want me focused on the cars around me because they want to pretend like what I'm hearing is coming from somebody that's stalking me physically. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking in my head. They need to be sentenced to death. They need to be sentenced to death. They need to be sentenced to death. Do you hear me? I need to live stream for 2 more years so I can make sure whatever knot that they're trying to tie between, there are records they're trying to gain access to. I want to make sure that I sever that opportunity. I don't want them to get anywhere near any records that they're trying to get near. They're taking control of my vehicle and the road is flat. Right in front of me is a Nissan Cube 6UUF 715 9XDX440. See, I can't even recite. She said recite because she's causing me a stroke right now. I can't even recite the license plate on people's cars. These are people that are on the road with me right now, okay, whose voices I cannot capture on this live stream, who these terrorists can find out if they heard the same thing that I heard, because I'm capturing their license plates, and these terrorists have access to do extensive research to see if what I hear is coming from internally in my head. Schizophrenia, what would be diagnosed, labeled schizophrenia, or if it's coming from my environment. I'm giving them plenty of evidence, or not evidence, ways to identify the people in my surrounding so that they can't come up with the excuse that there was no way to identify who the voices were, or if they were internal or external. There's no way in fucking hell I'm going to give these bitches that opportunity. I want them sentenced to death. They're talking in my head. And mind you, they want to say that I'm in my sound mind making poor decisions, because if I have a handicap, it's not me in a sound mind making poor decisions. I can't make decisions for myself if I'm not in a sound mind. So if I can't read these license plates, if I can't drive, if I can't cook, if I can't get dressed, if I can't go to work and make calls and sound literate, if I don't sound like I'm among my peers, they get sentenced to fucking death. This isn't something small. This is causing mental retardation. This is manipulating someone's brain activity. This is like on another level of psycho. They're gonna get investigated and sentenced to death the same fucking way, dude. I keep saying these psycho bitches in Arabic. There's a saying called Haimuto Fiki. Okay, the exact translation is they're gonna die inside of you. Okay, that is the exact translation. Why in the fuck do we say that in Arabic? And I'll tell you why. Because these terrorists designed that Arabic language to code, okay, and like have phrases and codes that as something that they're not. So the perception, when an Egyptian person says it to another Egyptian person, it means they're gonna die for you. They'll love you to death, basically. Okay? But the exact translation is they're gonna die inside of you. And those terrorists are talking to one another saying, we're gonna basically destroy the eggs in that so they're not fertile, or we're gonna cause that person to miscarry. That is literally what these terrorists are doing with this war weapon. Oh my God. Oh my God, I want to live to see the day they get sentenced to fucking death. Ew. Ew. I don't care. You already did. You already have. I'm done talking. My daughter is struggling in school, and it's these terrorists talking in my head keep saying, ha ha, we're playing with your daughter's head, retarded bitch, you retarded bitch, over and over and over again in my head. I am so done. I want to make sure I stay on track to explain and to explain what I'm going through so that there's enough evidence to prosecute these terrorists. I just want to make sure that I'm explaining what I'm going through. No, they want me in fight mode. They want me in fight mode. I can't flee them because they're talking in my head. So they're trying to, so they're playing with my head. So the way your body adapts is it goes right into fight mode because it doesn't have any way to flee. Its only other option is fight, and they want me always in this fight mode to make it look like I'm dangerous when I'm not. They're psychopaths. They're talking in my fucking head. I can screenshot it and make it clear. I don't have to say anything. I can just post it. The terrorists talking in my head are making fun of me and saying, haha, people are leaving comments and they're making fun of you, or haha, the people that are logging into your live stream, they're deleting their comments because they're making fun of you. They're psycho Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking in my head. They're playing with my head to where it's like, it feels like there's blood, like either it's clotting, like there are blood clots, they're causing blood clots because it feels like a rush of blood to my head. It feels like something that feels off. They keep saying, get the picture, but they get the picture so loud and clear what this weapon can do if they get investigated with it, that there's no fucking way in fucking hell that I would ever stop explaining that I hear them in my head. They're so stupid. in the next 2 years while I live stream, I'm gonna have quite a few people following me. I know I'm gonna gain traction. I'm gonna live stream like my life. And it does. My life depends on it. My justice depends on it. So right now they're assaulting me with the weapon. They're screaming in my head hysterically. The women, okay, they don't want me explaining that I hear them in my head, and they're trying to see if they want to rob me of being a human being, of having a peace of mind, having silence in my mind to think. They want to rob me of my health. They want to rob me of they've caused brain damage. Oh my gosh. If I understand there's a site, they don't make sense. Which one am I? They're talking in my head with a war weapon. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. I wonder if in the next 2 years I will have the most live streams ever streamed, ever. They're talking in my head. They're saying that bee wants something to do something. I don't want to repeat what they've said, but I've blanked out some of the words. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists in my head right now. Capture their voices on my live stream, and if they were coming from outside and I could hear them, other people could hear them, I could catch them on my live stream. If my car got hacked, I'd be able to capture their voices. And if my car got hacked, this would be an issue they'd have to take up with Mercedes, and an issue like this would be Mercedes' problem, which would entitle them to the records. This is a safety issue. This isn't a car accident. Maybe that's why they're telling the victims that's exactly why. They want their victims to so that they don't go out and buy nice cars, or that they abandon cars in general, so that they don't drive. Well, no, because they could talk through any speaker if that's the case. It's just a form of manipulation. And these terrorists actually I'm not obviously the only targeted individual. There are so many of us that were schizophrenic. Medically, we're schizophrenic, okay? But criminally, on the criminal front, we're being tortured and abused, and our minds have been hacked by terrorists, okay? And And I know, see, this is why they wanted to create a medical, they wanted to make it medical, because if I were to explain this, you'd be like, are you a terrorist? What are you trying to say? Unless I say I'm schizophrenic and it's medical. So now I could comfortably discuss this, and it says I'm schizophrenic on my medical records. Which reminds me, I have to go stop and get, I have to stop and get my medications. So if they have some of their victims. This woman she's hearing voices. She's hearing these terrorists like I hear them in my head. And she's like, I sold my house. She sold her house. And she thinks her kids are worshiping the devil. Because these terrorists are playing so hard with her mind. She has no idea what's going on. She posted a picture of her. She's in a hotel now, and she had a bloody nose. They keep giving her a bloody nose, and she woke up and it looked like a war zone on her bed. And she's like, this happens to me on a regular basis because of the terrorists talking in my head. Okay, so there are people that are giving up their possessions. So if these terrorists are like, "Oh, your car is hacked," they don't want their victims driving. So they want them to abandon their vehicles, abandon their phones. And that's why they're saying that their possessions got hacked. That's why. It's not because that's the claim that they want to make. Okay, that's not what they want the weapon to report back, because they report back something like my vehicle got hacked, or then in fact it would flag their records, and it would need full on review. So what they're trying to do is get their victims to basically abort ship and get rid of all of their phones, all of their electronics, anything at all that they could take pictures with, take recordings with, make calls with, like that documents anything about them. Their vehicles, their cell phones. That's why. So they're trying to manipulate their victims, and they do it right fresh in the beginning of when they start targeting their victims, so that they abort ship immediately. And after that, it's like they're on cruise control. The terrorists talking in their heads are on cruise control. They basically took control of that person and their life, and now they can camouflage their voices with what sounds like voices coming from outside.
Just a minute, you've forgotten your phone.
And possibly to say, we did hear, maybe they don't want to say that I'm angry, okay? But maybe they want to say someone was stalking me. It's not a federal crime, possibly, because if it's a federal crime, it now becomes the U.S. has to get involved. So maybe it's a crime that is like not significant enough to where it's like, oh, okay, we need to take a look at these records to review it, to do a thorough investigation. Like, your job is done, basically, terrorist psychos, although they don't know them as terrorists. They know they're terrorists, but they don't have any documented evidence to prosecute them yet. They're waiting for records like mine. So, they're playing with my head, so I forgot so I'd forget what I was saying. So, um, they're playing with my head. They're playing with my head. So, and they're basically they're having their victims abort everything possible, including electronics, anything that they could get their hands on, so that they could basically traffic them into homelessness. And they want their victims to think that it's the people at work, so they voluntarily quit. Like, I've heard some of the victims, these targeted individuals who are being harassed and tortured by terrorists talking in our heads, saying, "Oh, my coworker is doing such and such to me," and they end up leaving. They end up walking off the job because they want to prove that there's somebody at their work is one of the terrorists talking in their head, and they can't, and they're making these serious accusations. No one's believing them, and then it's like, okay, they either get fired or they quit, and it's like, well, and then that's what I was gonna say, but I'll get back to that. Okay, they're like literally trafficking them into homelessness. And what I was gonna say is they're playing with my head again. They're playing with my head again. They're playing with my head again. I can't remember what I was gonna say. Oh, I was gonna say, so their voices, so maybe what they're trying to say is someone was stalking Renee, and Renee was responding to the voices that we all heard, okay? But someone must have thought that Renee was talking to them, felt uncomfortable, and murdered her, maybe. Maybe that's what they're doing by accident. And being that I sounded as violent as I did, and maybe because it's ongoing, they say that that person had the right because it was self-defense. Well, if I sound about it's self-defense, and that the voices that I hear need to be further investigated, maybe that's what they're trying to do. Because I'm really trying so hard to figure out what is their angle here. They're not making sense. And I'm like, you guys are so fucking obvious. You're talking every second of the fucking day. That's why they want me in a drug infested felony. Like, they want me in the projects. Like, that's where they want me. So that a gangster hears me, thinks I'm talking to them, and like shoots me or something. These terrorists are stupid, dude. I swear to God. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. They're talking in my head. They're trying to traffic me into any environment where I could potentially be in danger, while they cuss and scream in my head. And then they want me in environments where it's now that makes sense. Drug infested, and where people are doing drugs and they're felons, and no one's obviously gonna sit there and record all day, okay? Because they don't want to be on camera. And they can say, oh, there was no evidence of anything that we could find to source where the voices were coming from. Oh, and that person out of self-defense did it. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists, okay? They're talking in my head. And how could this be? And maybe they want to, they say it's, I don't know. I don't know how they want to, and then to further investigate and say I had a child and why didn't people report it? How there are clearly people here that could have said something that didn't. There, I mean, they're Egyptian, American, Muslim, women terrorists talking in my head. I do. I get psychiatric help. Trust me. I'm going to go pick up my meds today. And on top of it, I see my psychiatrist on a regular basis. Plus, I see a psychologist. And I'm seeing a neurologist. And I'm seeing physical therapists because they cause me spinal stenosis. And I'm seeing a chiropractor. And I'm not the type that's avoiding medical attention, and I don't do drugs, and I don't drink, and I don't smoke, and I'm 100%, almost 99% of the day there are people who have now consistently been on my live streams that know I don't do drugs, that I'm at work, that I don't drink, that I don't smoke, that see me on almost regularly. Do they log into my live stream to see if I'm working? Anyways, I know, I absolutely agree. Psychiatric attention is necessary. It's not a joke. This is immediately when I feel like I'm not in control of myself, I'll call 911. I'll call the crisis assessment team. I'm not opposed to getting medical attention. Okay, not at all. For my safety and for the safety of everyone, it is so imperative. But this is what's going on in my head. And you don't understand the reality of the situation. Anyways, I'm at Target. My daughter wanted me to go pick something up. I legit feel like these terrorists, because they're screaming in my head. I want to make sure that it's so obvious that when I'm responding to something, it's not. I know it sounds crazy, and I take meds, they're not working, okay? And so the only other solution to my problems is to take the meds and do my very best to make an effort to make it clear that I'm not opposed to getting medical treatment, but at the same time, I want to do what I want to do, and that means live stream. So I want to make it so clear that there are what is now fact to me. There are terrorists talking in my head, okay? I want to make it clear that these terrorists, I'm getting too hung up on what people think. I want to make it super clear. I'm here at Target and I'm going grocery shopping for my daughter. I'm not doing anything. I'm around other people. I'm not of a danger to anybody. There are still Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists screaming in my head. Okay? It's obvious the weapon is voice activated. It's triggered by them screaming. It's triggered by them attacking me with the weapon. They made my hair fall out. They made they worsened, they've actually caused my spinal stenosis. I have a herniated disc and I have spinal stenosis. One is the narrowing of the canal. The other one is a bulge of the disc. And then it causes nerve damage. On top, so, what was I saying? So the attacks trigger the weapon to keep it surveilling me. They need me to die because I have entitlements to the records that are produced with the weapon that they're using to talk into my head. Okay, and they don't want me to they want me to die, and they want to destroy any records that are any records, any medical records, any school records, any school loan records, anything possible that they could get their hands on, that they could destroy, so that they can so that the way the weapon works is, if everyone has died and there's no relevant reason to keep it, it dumps all of what's in the storage of this system, this telepathy, mind control, mind reading system. Okay, it dumps it like the surveillance of a Walmart or a Target. They're constantly streaming all day long, and all of the look, see this big, these big the cameras when you walk into Target. So when you walk into Target, this obviously gets stored in a database. So when that database gets to a point where it's reached its capacity, it dumps anything that's not relevant, or it feels like there's nothing on there to save. Okay, because there's nothing got stolen from Target. No, there's no crime going on. Whatever. So the same with the system that they're using. If there's nothing that looks suspicious about their records, then it dumps the records. But I have to die. And on top of, and not just do I have to die, they want to open up another investigation that involves my daughter and my ex-husband. It's obvious because they want whatever to happen to me before she turns 18. It's so fucking obvious. Okay? And the only thing that the reason my daughter would ever be relevant to have to do that to her is so that they could do it, so it could tie them to my ex-husband. Something about him, and there must be records that are archived that nobody has access to, and these psycho terrorists are trying to to get their hands on them or something. So I've had 14 or legit deals. I just called a realtor right now. She's such a sweetheart. Her name is Jane. Um, she asked me to put together a flyer. She said, I used your flyer at my broker opening for my open house, which means realtors took a hold of it. Um, and um, and I reached out to a few other people today to see if anybody needs help with their loans. But I probably have like almost 14, 16, 17 deals, legit deals that could close and potentially make me a little over $100,000, dude. And the terrorist talking in my head said, ha ha, you fucking bitch. Ha ha. Over 100,000, you guys. Each one is probably like $7,000 to $10,000 in commissions or more. And they're like, ha ha, you fucking bitch. Who the fuck said? Who the fuck said? Some of them are purchases, so that's why I'm rounding it up to 100, because my mouth is a little off. But I mean, the minimum we're talking about 7. The maximum I could make about 30 to 40. Okay, and my broker is my uncle. So it's not like he's taking a huge commission cut from me. Or like he would. I mean, he's taken commission when he needed it cut. But I mean, if I were to say, when I say I absolutely need this, he's not the type that's like, absolutely not. He has an overhead. He's paying for the roof the office, the roof over my head, literally. And the terrorist talking in my head, the women are like, not a fucking great bitch. And they ruined the zipper on my pants. They poked a hole in they want all of my professional attire destroy. They want to ruin it. Okay. They had me poke a hole in the sleeve of my one of my shirts at $350 pants. My zipper broke. And then they wanted me to, and it has these little rhinestones on it. And if you leave it in the sun, the adhesive melts and the rhinestones start to fall off. And already one fell off. And they thought it was super funny that when I took it to the dry clean, and he was like, honey, you can't leave this in your car and we can't dry clean it. And when you wash this in super cold water or hand wash it in cold water. Anything hot will make the rhinestones fall off. And so I obviously didn't know that was the case. And they're sitting talking in my, like laughing in my head, like, you stupid bitch, you stupid bitch. My daughter's dress, I bought her two dresses. One of the dresses, she came back and there was like this belt of like she, when you rub into a car, like you walk into a car and it's dirty and you get that like filth, like that nasty dirt on your, so she comes back and there's like this belt of dirt on her dress and I'm like, what the hell? And I had to go dry clean it. It wouldn't come out. And then the terrorists my mom bought her Steve Madden shoes. They made her lose one of them. Then my mom bought her another pair of really cute sandals. They broke the heel on it. The terrorists talking in my head. They're like, ha ha, we made your daughter break the heel. Ha ha, oh, she lost a heel. Ha ha, her dress. Ha ha. I bought her a $50, this was just last week. I bought her a $50 from PacSun sweater, and bleach got on it, and she's like, Mom, how did bleach get on it? I was like, I don't know, I don't even buy bleach, but I do. I have this woman who comes over and cleans twice a month. I don't know if she accidentally like put bleach on it, and the terrorists talking in my head were like, ha ha, we trafficked her to fucking put bleach on your daughter's sweater, bitch. Ha ha, because they want it to look like I don't buy anything for her. And they're like, ha ha, we're the reason why all of the clothes she wants to buy look like she's homeless. Because my daughter she'll buy like really baggy jeans, and she always wants to be in sweats and slippers. Like, she will literally wear that on a regular, and the terrorists are like, ha ha, look at her and look at all her peers getting dressed up and looking gorgeous. I bought her a dress, like I'm hiding it in my closet because I'm scared the terrorists want to ruin it for my cousin's wedding. Oh, which reminds me, we need to go finish Devin's shopping. I gotta go get Devin. We gotta finish looking for his suit. I got him a suit jacket. But we don't have the pants, the slacks. I want to make sure the shoes fit him. But I'm literally hiding that stuff because I know they don't want us going to the wedding. And then when my daughter she bought this dress, it's super cute. And she wore it to my cousin's bridal shower. And they know how my mom feels about, like, if it's too short or if it's too, like, it shows a little too much cleavage, my mom will say something. But at this, like, during these times, like, literally everything looks like that. For 16-year-olds, it's like you can't even stop it. It's just, that's the style. And so anyway, but it looked darling on her, and It was, and um, so I was like, I'm not going to even say anything because the terrorist thought I was going to tell her, go find another dress. And then she was going to say, no, I don't want to go now that you don't want me to buy this dress. So, because I wanted her to be involved so badly. I was just like, let it go. And I told my mom the same thing. I said, you better let it go because I don't want Leah stuck at the house anymore. And she did wear it, but I could tell the terrorists talking in my head. They didn't want me taking pictures with her. They didn't. They're psycho. The terrorists talking in my head are fucking legit sick in the fucking head. They didn't want it to look like we go out and we're loved and we have family and that we respect ourselves and that we're good people. They want to portray my family like it's something it's not. They're Egyptian American Muslim psychopath terrorists. Please, I want them sentenced to fucking death. Then get off my page. Okay, anyways, that's exactly what the terrorists want. So, the terrorists want me involved. They keep saying, "Look at all the comments," and I'm not interested. They're talking in my head. And it's just they're psycho. The terrorists talking in my head are psychotic trash. Do you hear me? They were like, he's right about the guy who just commented that I'm fucking boring. That's not the only thing they broke. What else did they break? Oh, my desk. Okay, my $1,800 desk. They made sure that I was cleaning up and I had nail solution, the nail polish remover solution, and it spilled. Like they made sure that my cat hopped on the thing and it made my solution spill on my desk, and the desk, it ruined the paint. How do I know they're? Because they speak Arabic fluently, like fluently, to the point where when they were talking in my head, I didn't. There were words I was like, Mom, I don't talk this way. I didn't even know that, like like this isn't how I communicate. And I recited what the terrorists were saying in my head, and even my mom looked at me funny. Like, huh? Like she knows I don't speak Arabic fluently. The terrorists, they speak it fluently. Everything of mine, they just like everything, and they were saying, oh, um, we just remodeled the house. So there are things that are falling apart, and they're like, ha ha, we made sure it wasn't put together right. So that way, you guys, basically, they want a penny pinch. So we keep fixing these little things that keep getting ruined. Like, unless we do it ourselves. I have to do everything myself while they're crippling me. And then I have to go, they're making me dizzy while I cook, while I do anything, so that way I go buy food out so they can decide how much grease is in it, how much salt is in it. This is fucking crazy, dude. They are crippling me on another level. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking in my head. They don't want us eating healthy. They're sick. They're sick. So right now, okay, the terrorists talking in my head are super quiet, and the reason being is that there are cameras because Target, okay, the franchise, the people that own the majorities. The majority shares to Targets and the things that Target buys, okay, or the stock, target stocking, like their inventory. Okay. Anyways, they want these terrorists sentenced to death on every square inch. Look at this. Look at that. Every camera. You see that? Because so that if the terrorists talk in my head, okay, and let's say I die today and I was here at Target, they can immediately scan every single surveillance camera in Target to see if one of the voices that's talking in my that I hear matches anything anybody else said, or if it captured anything that I heard, to see if it's external or not. They want these terrorists sentenced to death. I'm telling you, these are psychopaths. These are psychopaths. Beyonce says in her song, terrorists, Karens, although she spells it Karen, but when you spell it Cairene, with the end of the word being my name, Karen, she says Karens just turned into terrorists, like they're investigating them. And Kendrick Lamar says on his song, that's that really popular song that just came out, he says, put your ass on the cross, or Tizo on the cross. What does he say? He says something like Tizo on the cross. Tizo in Arabic means I put your ass on the cross. Okay, and they say it in Arabic. J. Cole says, I'm going to be on your block. Adi. A-D-A. Adi means regularly. Who else? Oh, Beyonce, she does a play on words where in the song Blow, she says, Tizik, no self-control, but it sounds like Tizik is the feminine of your ass has no self-control. She's talking about the women terrorists talking in my head. And that's why they throw up these signs, okay? Because they're saying, hey, we see you guys with this mind control, mind reading, telepathy weapon. We know that you guys are getting sentenced to death. We know what you're doing, basically. And we have our eye on you. She says tizik, which means your ass has no self-control, but the way it's translated is like tease it, like she wants to tease you, tease it, and that's how people interpret it. But when you know what's going on, you know what she really says. What else? There are so many songs, so many subliminal messages, so many. Anyways, there's nothing. My daughter said she wanted cotton candy grapes, and there are none. All I could find was the ice cream she wanted. Because it's the dialect of Arabic that they speak. I am of Egyptian descent. So I don't like to get too wrapped up into the comments, because then the terrorists want to make me sound insecure or not. They don't want me explaining what's going on in my head, because there are, like I said, huge government powers, entities that are after prosecuting every single last one of them. Okay, we're talking about Michelle Obama, Donald Trump, the Clintons, like we're talking about big heads, okay? Administrations of people that want these terrorists sentenced to death, but they've managed so well to camouflage and manipulate the records and manipulate the circumstance, hello, and they're taking advantage of certain situations, and that's the reason why they're still behind the weapon. Otherwise, they would have been sentenced to death. Okay? So the government has been like chipping at sentencing them to death as 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 much as they can without violating any of the treaties, without violating any of the their relationships with their allies, so that they could bring this. I would assume they want to bring it forward. Elon Musk is another one. They want them sentenced to death. Stop. The tears stuck in my head are pulling on my face. Ooh.
Yes.
1 billion likes on a single song impressed me.
I told him that I was like, it has to like.
Please help me sentence them to death. I literally live stream every second of the fucking day. The women are constantly talking about how I look, same with the men, how I sound crazy, like as if they're so stupid weird, dude. Yeah. Well, there are people listening. And anyways, I was saying I feel comfortable live streaming because these terrorists said that they didn't investigate me and they're clearly conducting a confidential investigation. The part about it confidential though is nothing that I consented to. I didn't obviously consent to an investigation because I didn't know that I didn't even know that I was being investigated. Not that you can consent to it, but I was so, but the confidential part. Yeah, but that's not terrorists. Those are kids. I'm glad. Thank you. So you do hear, so it's obvious when there are voices, people around me. Okay, well, you're right. I guess if someone hacks into your head, they're not a terrorist. It means they're God's angels or something. But anyways, I don't want to get dragged into the conversation like we're arguing because I don't even know you and everybody's entitled to their opinion. Driving. So now I'm at a Target. The terrorists are screaming in my head again. Target has surveillance records or surveillance cameras. They don't want to talk while I'm in Target to say anything crazy. They may do a quick, like a little giggle, be a little passive, grab it with the way they laugh, or they'll make little smirks and stuff like that, but they're not really like talking, screaming like they are when I'm at home, especially because I'm not live streaming. I mean, to that degree where it's like 24/7, but damn near though, damn near my videos. I want to take up as much storage as possible. I want to make a name for myself. I want it to be known. I'm going to. I have every right to say I hear voices in my head, and they keep saying they're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. They're talking in my head right now. Yeah, but I don't think all Muslims are terrorists. I just think that the people talking in my head are terrorists. I don't have a problem with Muslims. On the contrary, I think Muslims are innocent. I think they're being oppressed by these psycho terrorists talking in my head. terrorists to death. I'm hoping that they're still paying attention. That they're seeing that I'm to scare these terrorists off of me. They're talking in my head. They're trying to murder me and get away with it. For 8 years. Yes, I said I was divorced, and I'm just so you know, no, I did not get divorced because of my voices. I got divorced because of unreconcilable difference with my head. They're Egyptian American Muslim women. So this guy Low Key, Lizzo, Amir, Bobby, they've been logged in. They see that I don't do drugs. There was another guy who was logging in, but he stopped logging in. I forgot his name. There's another guy named Daniel Drew. There's another guy, Mare, M-A-R-E, who logs in regularly. There are several of these people that log in regularly. I literally log in the minute I wake up. From the minute I wake up till the minute I go to sleep, I'm almost logged in the entire day. Unless, like, I have to be on my phone, and in which case tomorrow will probably be one of those days where I won't be logged in because I'll be on my phone to make phone calls. So... go get my meds. I almost forgot. My hair just falls out of my head now. They're so obsessed. It's just... Don't take a breath between words. And it's several of them. No, can you get off my page? I wish they stopped the voices. They dull them down, but they don't stop them. Until I turn 16. I mean 16, 18. an hour and 10 minutes strong. Hi. No, I'm good. Thank you.